Good morning, everyone, and welcome. This is Joseph Scarice, co-host and co-founder of the Creative Bird Strategy House and podcast here live on Clubhouse every Saturday morning, 8 a.m., and every Sunday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's get ourselves set up this morning for another great discussion of education, strategy, and connection. So we'll get some invites in here real quick. We'll get started here in just a few minutes. And our discussion this morning is leveraging your mortgage broker business with white label marketing. And a lot of people are just really not familiar with what white label marketing is and how it works. And we'll talk a little bit about the origin of it, of course, and get into it a little bit because it's the industry that I'm in. And I skate around what asset-based lending is and how it applies to the real estate investor. But I think if more people understood there was an opportunity to be a better educated real estate professional in this space of asset-based lending, they take advantage of the opportunities that are in front of them. So get started here in just a minute. I'm just inviting a bunch of people in and getting started. Give me just a quick second, and we'll dive into this. I'm really excited about this discussion. I've been hesitant about it a little bit, but I felt compelled to get into this discussion this morning just because I saw an article out there, and I did put an article myself out there in regards to white label marketing. So it is posted on LinkedIn where you can read it and review it, and I put my thoughts together where this business is going. So quick update to our sponsors. I always want to thank our sponsors every Saturday and Sunday. I want to thank Mr. Yardell Perkins of Perkatech, who is pretty much the architect and the backbone to this podcast, but he's also a social media strategist for real estate professionals throughout the country. He provides website design, graphic art design, uh, strategy, advisory. Reach out to him for your next social media needs. Ms. Linda Pelagas of Realty 411, who provides a national publication for real estate professionals and services, as well as provides national events throughout the country. Has a big event coming up in LA, Grand LA Expo. So keep an eye out for that if you're on the West Coast. Then MB Capital, where we provide unsecured business lines of credit, and I am a referral partner for MB Capital for the last 10 plus years, providing insight and leveraging unsecured business lines of credit. And then there's Lendmark Capital, where I'm a senior loan analyst, providing asset-based lending in the DSCR space, fixed to rent, fixed to flip, new construction, multifamily, mixed use, blanket loans, advisory and strategy for real estate professionals nationwide. So let's just do a quick update on Mortgage News Daily, which I always like to give a quick reminder where the market is. The rates kind of fell in around 6.64. Some interesting data on jobless claimant reports, as well as CPI. Bond market is still up, kind of pushing away against the Fed announcement of the half a point drop in the rate previous week, kind of eroded any opportunity of savings there in that rate. Commercial rates have kind of fell in space, so starting at around 6.25 on the DSCR. On construction, money has gotten a little cheaper. Rates have dropped this past week to 9.75 base rate. Again, this all depends on credit score, the experience of the borrower, DSCR of the property if it's DSCR loan, and the asset type and loan amount and LTV. So there's different factors, and that'll tie in to our discussion today: how to white label market as a mortgage business broker business. Okay, so the industry itself, and we'll go a little bit into the industry first. White label marketing has its origins in the broader business and financial services sector. There's always been some form of white label, others money, to put out money on behalf of a direct lender. But the origins of white labeling refers to the product or service produced by one company that other companies rebrand and sell as their own. This practice is common in many industries, such as consumer goods, software, and financial services. But in the financial services, white labeling allows one firm to offer services or products created by another firm under its own brand. The application in asset-based lending is that you don't need to be licensed. You need to work with a licensed entity that provides lending in the non-bank space. The ABL industry White label marketing emerged as a way for lenders or service providers, often non-bank lenders, to outsource certain services to third parties while maintaining their own branding. Asset-based lenders, especially smaller or niche firms, often don't have the infrastructure or resources to offer the wide range of services internally. It's a staffing issue. White labeling allows them to offer these services while maintaining control of the client relationship. So the way it works, most lenders in the white labeling space, you put out the term sheet, you put out the information, you process the file, and then the independent processing department of that lending source provides the processing and support to you and underwriting, and then it closes with your label, meaning it white labels the marketing of the product. So how does it work in the ABL space? Loan servicing, well, they conduct all the servicing behind the scenes. You're just pretty much corresponding or brokering the money. Technology solutions, so they're providing a CRM or spreadsheets for you to upload and to be able to price out your loans and have a discussion with an account executive. And then there's marketing and outreach, where they assist in putting together flyers for you, or marketing flyers, marketing branding, where you can get it out in front of your clients for either email distribution, posting, marketing. And why is it useful in the asset-based lending? The white label labeling provides several key advantages to asset-based lenders. One is cost efficiency, two, faster scaling, three, focusing on a core business, and five, branding consistency. The biggest thing for me is focusing on the core business. I know what products I offer. I know what products I don't offer. And I think there's a massive confusion of what the public, especially real estate professionals, think an asset-based lending offers. And over and over again, I'm constantly reminding real estate professionals I don't do that type of loan. I don't do that type of loan. I probably say that 2 to 3 times a month, a day. So, it's over and over again. So we're very focused in what we do. And with the growth of fintech and increasing complexity of financial markets, white label marketing in the asset-based lending space has expanded. Many fintech firms offer white label program platforms to traditional lenders, allowing them to keep pace with the technological advancements without having to develop these technologies themselves. The banks are 20 years behind any asset-based lender. The asset-based lender has spent more money in the matter of just a couple years that a bank has spent in 25 years when it comes to technology for this type of lending. Additionally, white label funding sources allow lenders to access capital from investors or other financial institutions while keeping their brand front and center. In summary, white label marketing in the asset-based lending industry developed as a way to offer greater flexibility, efficiency, and scalability for lenders who needed specialized services but preferred to keep their branding and client relationship intact. This trend has grown as both technology and financial services outsourcing have evolved. Good morning, Amy. Welcome. Brief overview, who you are, what you do, and thoughts to the discussion this morning, leveraging your mortgage broker business with white label marketing. Amy, are you there?
I'm here. Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy Sunday, everyone.
Happy Sunday.
I am Amy Palvido. I'm the chair of the U.S. PropTech Council, and I'm also a founder and CEO of a real estate technology company. So this topic interests me because of obviously the technology angle. But I've been a long-time real estate investor. I've never been a broker, a mortgage lender, ever. And so, as you were talking, I had a lot of things going through my brain around, oh, okay, well, that's like a channel partnership, or, oh, that's like this, or, oh, that's like that. Because I'm just trying to relate it back to something that I do. Because, I mean, there's lots of complexities on how you handle the customer service post sale. I mean, who does what, all those kind of things. And I was trying to really see where I could add value. I mean, this is a super interesting topic to me because if you're gonna choose to do this, so say you're a real estate broker and you're choosing to do this as well. I mean, I can see that there's consolidation in the industry at some point, right? where somebody goes and doesn't have to leave the website. They could find the deal, finance the deal, and maybe even, go back to the website to close the deal, right? Like that's where I see technology leads us. And so this would be key to that, because if you could white label market some other lenders under some other lender's shop, and you can create those portals or places where people can go and just do that. Like, so you just need the deals, you need the money, and they need title. If you can add all three together, and I think that's probably already happening in some places, but not actually outsource somebody somewhere, like actually do it there in the that would just be really interesting to see for sure.
So I know, Amy, you're in that prop tech, fintech type of environment. Are you
Uh-huh.
finding individuals with complementing this on software to working with either brokers or correspondents to fall in line in tapping all these asset-based direct private lenders such as myself? Is that discussion very frequent in your space? Because I know you tie in with a lot of different the circle around lending, but you don't
Yeah.
always. So, I mean, am I wrong in saying that the asset-based lending industry has spent more money in the last 5 years than the last 50 years in the bank industry alone?
No, no, for sure. I mean, y'all had the luxury of coming in. The product's newer, right? And so you had the luxury of watching what the banking industry had screwed up forever, right? And then you could and come in and do it differently, do it better. And so being the second mover is always, there's advantages there. So I know, but but it was also the nature of the beast for the asset-based lenders. You didn't have the big real estate places that the banks did, right? Your distribution channels were different. Your business plan was different. So you had to adopt technology in order to get certain things done. So, and I think it's the wave of the future anyway. And the banks are trying to catch up. They're starting to spend a lot of money, but there's so for me, any technology that serves the real estate industry is prop tech, and mortgages are only for real estate. So, so we have several people in our council that are basically technology for mortgage lenders. I mean, they are, and so there is a convergence of, say, mortgage tech and prop tech, and that is happening today. So I plan on attending a Cressy event just to see if there's more of it out there. But there, as I'm talking to more and more founders, there is this how can we use the data and more collaborative ways that we can streamline processes. There is a concerted effort there for sure.
So, using white label marketing to increase your marketing effectiveness, as the business purpose lending market becomes increasingly competitive, it's already given a way for more options for borrowers and more value for broker services or correspondent services. Lenders are vying for the attention of investors looking to either enter the real estate investment business or continue growing an already established portfolio, making funding partners who can broker or correspond deals between investors and lenders more valuable than ever. As a result, white label marketing services have begun to transform how investment deals are being sourced. For many brokers or correspondents, particularly newer ones, white label marketing is often considered as the first step forwards to becoming a fully functional, standalone mortgage manager. The option allows brokers to use their own branding and marketing when offering funding opportunities to clients through those funds that are being quietly backed by a larger lender or mortgage originator behind the closed doors. Using white label services offer brokers the opportunity to build a consistent brand across the board. An important factor when considering this as an industry certainly relies a great deal on excellent reputation and name association. Having such marketing tools presented to an affordable price to create strong brand awareness is incredibly appealing avenue for brokers and correspondents to take, one that encourages client acquisition and retention. I can tell you for a fact, Yardell Perkins of Perkintech sets all this up for a lot of different mortgage brokers and correspondents that I'm white labeling currently. It makes life a lot easier. He knows what marketing flyers need to be. He knows what needs to be said. He could set up a pull-up banner, tablecloth, flyer, and business cards within 7 to 10 business days, and it's at the printing press for you. So these are opportunities for individuals that are real estate professionals trying to understand the industry to offer white label services. Why not educate yourself in understanding how to put a deal together with a lender and become the lender? Okay. This is yet another way to increase fundings by offering counterparties a funding outlet through a broker channel. For brokers or correspondents who offer white label marketing opportunities, it means a degree of independence from being associated with a larger lending name or a major bank. In many cases, clients often decide to work with brokers or correspondents for that very reason, believing they don't want to be dealing with the hassle and red tape of applying for and obtaining funding through a larger player. So it's all about the communication and transparency. Okay. Ultimately, white label marketing offers an autonomy and a full ownership of your clients. We're not looking to take your clients; they're your clients. We're not going to email around you in the business. Like a true correspondent is not going to try to steal your client. They're not going to market to your client because that's one that you brought in, you have created a relationship with, and they're happy and content with what you're doing, right? So offering the white label marketing for either understanding what questions need to be asked, the worksheets, how to load it up into the portals and the CRMs are very, very important. Anyone can do it. I don't understand why enough real estate agents don't look at this as another revenue stream. It's an opportunity to control the destiny of your relationship with your client. And if you're an investor, typically investors hang out with other real estate investors. You need that karma type of relationship. You want to be that source in the lending space and providing insight and education. Now you need to be trained and understand how to look at a deal to make sure that there's a deal there and how to underwrite a deal, but it needs to make sense. Justin, good morning and welcome. Brief overview who you are, what you do, and thoughts to our discussion this morning, leveraging your mortgage broker business with white label marketing.
Yeah, good morning, Joe. I've definitely seen the pages for people who in the language industry and also people who, you know, have a decent following of professionals. They have other profession. They're in another profession where they take out loan to whether they have to buy equipment, buy vehicles, whatever the case may be. So yeah, this has been a good strategy. I think that I've seen several people pivot from, and just I'm not somebody who's made that pivot or anything like that. But when the talk was going about maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, they had some folks out there trying to sell some. They were just trying to make a dollar out of selling people this idea. But they also had some folks like yourself who were kind of trying to give the truth about what it took to be a non-QM lender and so on and so forth. So I did some research at that time, and like I said, I absolutely see how it can be advantageous once you have your following and once you're represented as a professional. You don't have to make a complete shift and represent yourself. Oh, I'm a lender now. I'm not doing this. I'm just a lender. No, this is something that today's time, and I think that's where it's where we are in the world. It's something you can add if you feel like people are trustworthy of yourself, because I think you can trustworthy individual to offer these services. For the public somewhat trustworthy to offer these services and be successful. So I think it's a wonderful opportunity for people to look at. It's something I've recommended in my household. So yeah, absolutely, Joe. I'm here to learn want to see if some updates to it.
Yep, I appreciate that, Justin. And I want to agree with you. There, in any industry, there's predatory individuals that smell blood. And you got to be cautious who you surround yourself with when it comes to any industry you're in, whether it's being a real estate agent, property management, property casualty insurance, title insurance, wholesaling, lending. And then with the non-bank, you don't need to be licensed. So you have some very questionable people in the space. Point blank, they're just lying. I mean, they're just, they're just not, they don't have integrity. So, if you're going to be in this industry, you should follow some form of an integrous code. And there's some basic questions that need to be asked, and basic application and basic checklist that it's not like you're not recreating the wheel here. This is a really basic scenario. Whenever I conduct a presentation, I've been doing several presentations a month now for the last 4 or 5 months straight. I've got another busy week. I'm presenting at 3 different expos this week alone. There's basic questions to ask on any scenario to be a better mortgage broker, to be a better mortgage correspondent. Because if you're translating that to the lender, they're getting 5 to 10 inquiries every couple hours, and they're looking at different deals. You want to make it as simple as possible to get your loan in front of them to get terms, right? So let's go real quick over questions to ask on any scenario. And if anybody wants this list, just email me or text me your full name and your email. I'll send you all the details. It's really not a big deal. Number one is client name or client names, the personal names of the individuals, the client percentage of ownerships, the client credit scores of each borrower, reserves, savings, 401k, checking, stock, money markets, whatever, with liquid reserves or even lines of credit. What's the LLC name buying the property? What's the subject address? Is it a purchase or a refinance? What is the asset type? Single family through 4 family, 5 through 25. What is it, a fix or flip? Or fix to rent? Is it a BRRRR? Is it a flip? Is it a DSCR? What is the purchase price? What is the original purchase date and close date? What are the repairs to complete? How much should the repairs have been completed already? What's the after repair value or current value? What's the monthly rent? What's the yearly taxes? What's the yearly HOI? What's the operating expenses for the landlord every yearly expenses, like water, sewer, trash, just kind of a rough number. And then the most important questions. And again, they might not pertain to the deal, but you just answer them anyway. How many flips completed in the last 4 years? How many rehabs to rental completed in the last 4 years? How many rentals purchased in the past 4 years? How many new construction completed for flip in the last 4 years? How many new construction completed for rental in the past 4 years? How many third-party renovations as a GC, third-party completed for real estate investors in the past 4 years? These are basic questions to ask over and over and over again. You get through this 5 or 6 times, you're now an expert in what you're doing. You're answering very quick, simple questions for a lender to best understand your scenario. Linda, good morning and welcome. Brief overview who you are, what you do, and thoughts to the discussion this morning, leveraging mortgage broker business with white label marketing.
Good morning, Joseph. Good morning, investors. I hope everyone's doing great. My name is Linda Pliagas, and I'm dialing in from beautiful California. I'm the owner of realty411.com. I've been an agent for over 17 years. And with realty411.com, we provide news and information. We also host live and virtual events. We produce magazines, podcasts, and so much more, all in an effort to help investors. Now, as far as white labeling for marketing purposes, I think it's an excellent idea. It can certainly help anyone and everyone with the business to market correctly. And there are many different options available. You can white label pre-written content. You can also white label and send out pre-designed email campaigns. And another popular method for white labeling is white labeling email newsletters or print newsletters. Heck, nowadays you can even white label print magazines and send them out to your list. There's a company called Reminder Media that does just that, which I think is incredible. The possibilities are endless. So my advice is to test out a different option so you can see what works best for you. So I would recommend, testing out different methods. And once you choose one method that works for you, set a budget and stick with it. Always track every single lead that comes your way to see what's working and what isn't. And most importantly, commit to that marketing method for at least 6 months to 1 year, because nothing will work if you are not consistent with it. So that's the key, consistency. I hope these tips help. And back to you, Joseph. Always a pleasure to be in this room.
Linda, thank you. And let's get a quick update on the LA Grand Expo.
Yeah, thank you so much for asking. We are hosting the Los Angeles Grand Real Estate Expo October 26th. You can find information on realty411.com. We're expecting close to 1,000 investors from around the country. We have developers flying in from Miami, from Cabo San Lucas. They're flying in from Denver, from Texas. We are so excited about this event, Joseph. This is a great opportunity to meet investors, developers, hedge fund managers, private lenders from all over the country. It's going to be an amazing event. It's free. Get all the details at realty411.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. And I've done it. I did it for 2 years. I just this month was so overwhelmed with scheduling. This month alone, I'm at the South Jersey REIA Expo. I'm at the New York Real Estate Investor Expo, Greater Philadelphia Association Realtor Expo, the Ohio REIA. I'm at the National Association of Realtor Expo in Boston. So I couldn't fit it in, but I do miss not being there. Great, ran very well by Lloyd and Sam and Linda. Really well run event. Wonderful day, all day. But I definitely have it earmarked for the next year. Just a little too much going on for me to fit it in with everything else. But really enjoyed having that relationship with them. And she's not. There's no fibbing. I mean, there's at least 600 to 800 people in between there, some number coming through all day. And there's educational subjects being provided. And this is the thing. I mean, there's nothing wrong in being a broker or being a correspondent and being honest with the client, saying, listen, I am direct with a direct private lender, and I'm going to make a fee on this based on my strategy and my advisory, and I'm going to provide you hopefully the best term sheet that can be provided to you, okay, with the right information, where there's no misleadings. Okay, there's really a good opportunity here to make money if you set yourself up correctly. Have a good website, nothing too complicated. Have a good flyer and a good business card. Look professional, play the part, and you're going to be a very, very successful correspondent. Understanding the white label product is transparency and great communication skills. You don't have to kind of get away with anything. It's because it all kind of comes out in the wash at the closing table. If you lie, you're going to look like a liar. If you're telling the truth, you're going to look like an integrous real estate professional. And you play an intricate part to many people's power teams. I mean, I want people to make money in the white label marketing space. I like wiring funds to somebody that just accomplished a closing and had a broker received a a a fee, whether it's a referral flat fee, whether it's a origination. There's a unique opportunity working with direct private lenders. There's not that many direct private lenders out there, so you don't want to burn your relationships with them. There's a unique opportunity for someone to grow and be a true professional in their space, wherever they're from, whatever market they're in. And guess what? You'll have multiple options. I mean, I know every direct private lender in the space. I'm one of them. So I know everybody. So when I go to one of those type of events, we all know each other. We're all friendly because we all bounce things off of one another. And we also talk about the bad people that are out there too. So nothing's hidden. We know who the questionable people are. And I have no problem firing brokers because if they're not listening and putting together deals together, they're taking up valuable time in a day that I could be providing valuable time to someone else. So I have to weigh out the cost benefit relationship of either keeping a broker on, in play or firing them because they're not providing a good service, not just for their client, but to me, they're wasting a lot of time. So time has a value. So you want to be precise. You want to give the right questions to the direct private lender and load up the right information so they can underwrite and determine if it's a deal for them and giving you proper terms where you could translate better and proper terms back to the client. It's very important in this space. And the questions are always straightforward. There's a standard application in the asset-based lending space, which you could white label as well. There's basic questions that you need to ask, right? You need the application signed. They're going to have to pay for an appraisal where an authorization is sent out to them separately. There's obviously you need to collect their ID. If it's a fixed to rent or fixed to flip or new construction, there's a scope of work, and putting a budget together. There's a purchase contract if it's a purchase. If there's obviously a payoff or refinance, there's a payoff letter. If it's free and clear, title will disclose that. Then there's plans and permits if you need that for a fixed to rent, fixed to flip, or new construction. And then there's basic bank statements, and they will be looked at. They're going to be scrutinized to make sure they're not fraudulent. And then there's entity docs, the LLC, the formation docs, the original filing certificate, the operating agreement signed and dated and notarized, and what the percentage of ownership, and having a discussion with the direct private lender, understanding what needs to be seen in that ownership. Obviously, you need to have the EIN letter. You need the letter of good standing. You need articles of formation. You need a schedule of owned real estate and experience. Remember the questions that we asked and posed? And then you need to have the context of the insurance agent, the title agent, point of contact for the appraisal. You're involved in the whole process. You're not left out. There's no shower drape in front of a relationship with a direct private lender. They want you to be involved. They want you to process the file. They don't want to have to talk to your client. So if you're the key to the communication to a successful closing, white label markings for you. Steve, I know you've been frothing at the mouth on this deal. Good morning and welcome. Brief overview who you are, what you do, and thoughts to the discussion this morning, leveraging your mortgage broker business with white label marketing.
Yeah, Joe, I mean, we kind of talked about this a little bit on Friday, and this is definitely one of the next steps. I'm a broker, I'm a landlord, I'm an investor, and I also do a little bit of educating. And REI homepage is focused on being the resource for investors. And this is one of the things actually I called Joe on Friday. I said, so what would be my next step to get a little deeper without necessarily being the actual panel guy? And this is kind of the direction. I think this is great. I'm actually doing this in the wholesale and market broker space. I actually have a website called the Wholesale Broker we're just launching, where we can offer this kind of back end white label deal analysis, whatever support to people trying to do the market space. They're great at finding the houses. We can take over and kind of help on the back end of it. And for me, probably November, December, I'll probably want to look at becoming white label on lending, because it's great to be able to say, hey, I know Joe, call Joe, but that doesn't really help. I mean, it gives you Joe another name, but it doesn't really help him very much, and it kind of doesn't really do anything on my end either. If I can offer more deep lending, that when I go to these REI meetings, when I go to these other situations, I want to help these people across the country, it would really work out great because what I see, and tell me if I'm wrong, is that the white label, I guess, broker, referral agent, whatever you call it, is kind of the first step filter. The person comes to you with a deal, it saves Joe time, like, oh my gosh, this isn't even close to a deal, to yeah, this looks like a deal. And it collects all the information, puts it in one place, so he can spend hopefully a little bit less time doing the real work behind the next step. And the person in my chair gets to learn a little bit more about, oh, well, I gave this one over. This sounded great, but it didn't work. Why didn't it work? And you kind of learn a lot, which brings it back to what I want to do is buy more real estate. So the more I understand watching other people's deals work and not work, the more I get to understand, what's going to work for me. And usually I enjoy the lending. I enjoy working with people on lending projects. I think it's actually kind of fun. So I think the white label space is working for me in the off market space and on some other spaces, helping people be landlords and so forth. So I'm excited to see more, to learn more, maybe do more on this white label lending space. This is great.
So Steve, I know you meet a lot of people, being a real estate broker, and you almost can get a vibe of what that person's like. Like becoming a better asset-based lender involves understanding the complexities of asset valuation, risk management, and fostering strong client relationships. Understanding the asset thoroughly. It's not multiple deals. It's one deal at a time. Asset-based lending is based on one deal and the client at hand to that deal. There's not a big story. It's bullet point answers. If they cannot provide those answers, your asset valuation expertise is a question. You really need to understand the client at hand and the deal. There's not a lot of story. The bullet points that I send out to individuals to better understand their scenario is straightforward. It cuts a lot of the fat out and staying updated in their markets. So being a better asset-based lender is understanding markets, understanding what's going on in your market. Is it a good market? Is it rural? Is it suburban? Is it urban? Then understanding the risk management, like do a little research on the property as you're talking to the client. Take the time understanding what the collateral is looking like, and then also understanding the credit worthiness of the borrower. Because in asset-based lending, when you're white label marketing, there's no tax returns being collected. There's no pay stubs or no W-2s, no 1099s. They're looking at the credit worthiness of the borrower or the borrowers, and we're having a deeper discussion. I'm having more of a deeper discussion in structuring the operating agreement with either the broker or the correspondent or the client more than ever, because credit is everything. Who has the best credit in the ownership? Make them 51%, everybody else 49%. And then also make sure you know who your business partners are, right? Who are your business partners? Do they have a background that's questionable, right? Because all asset-based lenders are going to do a data verify on all the minority ownership under 49%. So if there's something going on criminally or questionable to that individual, you better structure that LLC accordingly without them. And strengthen your due diligence. Don't be so sloppy. Don't kind of know numbers. Be competent and confident with your numbers. There's rigorous documentation within those 8 or 9 questions. Know those answers. If you're translating this to somebody else and you're shoddy with your information, it's going to be a shoddy loan. And understanding the different term options that an asset-based lender provides, and the rates, and the amortization, and the LTVs, and the cash reserve requirements, and seasoning. There's so many moving parts to understand, and then understanding technology and automation, using asset tracking tools and data analytics, building strong client relationships, being very transparent, communication, consultative approach. If you feel like you're walking across a hallway barefoot over broken glass dealing with a client on the phone, get rid of them. If they're like that in the beginning, how do you think they're going to be during the process? You don't have to work with anybody. You could turn away anybody if you feel uncomfortable. and understanding the exit strategy, like following up with individuals to see how they're doing, understanding liquidation opportunity and expertise and the recovery and collection of an opportunity, and staying educated and networked, building industry connections. I'm going to be at probably from now to the end of December over 50 events, meaning hundreds of people, and following up with every single one of them, putting them in my CRM, quoting rates, quoting terms, building broker relationships, building correspondent and white label marketing. We have the infrastructure. We have social media strategists that want you to be a successful correspondent and white label, and staying educated, going to lending events to be a better broker or white label specialist. Going to events is not going to get you educated in lending. Going to lending events is going to get you educated in lending. By refining these strategies, you'll be able to assess risk better, maximizing returns, and building more resilient asset-based lending portfolio. Linda, Amy, a lot of being said here. Any follow-up thoughts to the discussion we're having, leveraging your mortgage broker business with white label marketing? Amy, are you there?
I am. Yeah, this is just such an interesting topic because you have the opportunity to integrate something into your business or add another value to an existing client. But it also in the same way provides you kind of an educational opportunity to really understand from a different part of the real estate business how to get deals done. So it makes you a better investor at the end of the day, right? So are if you are a real estate investor or a wholesaler or a realtor and you want to learn this side of the business, it gives you the opportunity to do that. I think it's great. I don't know if, and this is kind of one of the questions that came up that I was thinking about was is there any sort of conflict of interest anywhere in combining these two? Do you see any of that?
No, not. I mean, well, are we talking about if you're a real estate agent and then trying to be a real estate, a white label marketing broker at the same time?
Yeah.
Well, there you should be transparent about it. Disclosing, I don't know if it's a necessary evil. I don't have to disclose. I'm a licensed realtor, and if I'm part of the transaction, they're paying an entity. They're not paying me. So I don't know. I mean, I would probably check with, your association, say, listen, I have an opportunity of corresponding loans strictly in the asset-based lending space. I'm not required to be licensed, right? And they're paying an entity, which is my marketing entity, where my marketing dollars go in. Do I need to disclose this on the contract working with an investor? Now, most real estate agents that work with investors already have transparency and communication they understand that. The problem you have is with the first time home buyer realtors that work with the home buyers and consumers. They are having an issue with transparency and communication about their commission. I don't see any investor real friendly realtor having any issues. None. Zero. It's like business as usual. So being the better real estate professional in disclosing and communicating that you're corresponding the loan on their behalf through a lender, and you might be getting a fee or a referral fee or a marketing fee, because you got to remember, Amy, we're not regulated. We follow guidelines. So there's no regulations. We're not Fannie Freddie at all. We don't follow any Freddie and Fannie guidelines. We have regulations. We follow our own guidelines in our industry. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I got you. Yeah, it's like commercial broker.
You're commercial brokering.
Yeah.
If you have involvement, I think Steve just answered it. Well, why don't we give Steve a minute to briefly?
Yeah, and this may be a misunderstanding of what came through my broker training, but we were told that EXP and some other brokers have actual forms for this.
Yes.
That if you're going to make money in any way from anybody. You know the contractor, you know the inspector. You have to get the client and say, listen, if you choose John Smith, I'm a possibility of maybe making money, me, my brokerage firm, anyone. No one cares. The people sign it, they don't care. But you just want that piece of paper saying, hey, I warned you that if you went to John, I might profit. That's all I understand the rules piece. You have to disclose it.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a disclosure form, which, listen, what's the problem if you're disclosing it and being transparent about it? What you're doing is saving yourself being sued, okay? And being tangled into a lawsuit. You know, somebody misrepresented something. And I think that's the biggest problem. I think people don't misrepresent themselves and who they really are. I mean, hey, man, this is Clubhouse. People misrepresent their names. They don't even use their real names sometimes, and that's okay too. Fine, whatever knocks yourself out. But becoming a better real estate professional involves a combination of market expertise, client relationship management, marketing skills, and adaptability. You know, these are strategies that you need to stand out and succeed if you're going to be a correspondent or a mortgage business broker or a broker in with a white labeling marketing, because you're not going to just burn your relationship with the client, you're going to burn the relationship with the lender, right? You got to master your market. You got to understand your local knowledge. You got to you got to track market trends. You got to improve your communication skills, active listening. I mean, clear and timely communication and negotiation skills. Developing a strong online presence. I keep emphasizing, set up a call with Yardell Perkins. He understands the real estate industry. He knows how to optimize the website, leveraging social media, virtual tours and videos, education on being a lender. You know, I have hundreds of videos out there providing insight and tips of the trade. Enhancing your client service, personalized service, sitting down, grabbing a cup of coffee with somebody, grabbing lunch with somebody, having a Zoom call. Zoom calls are pretty inexpensive. Okay, and then the follow-up after the closing. People really appreciate the check-in. How are you doing? How's everything going? And networking effectively, building a professional network and joining local organizations or regional associations, leveraging technology and tools and understanding CRM systems, how to work a sizer to price out a loan. I've probably sent out a sizer 100 times in the last month. How many people have come back to have a Zoom call to understand how to size up a loan? Maybe 5. Okay. People love my emails, but I never see the follow-up and the follow-through. Shame on you. Because I'm providing you the education to be a better real estate professional, not just a lender, but a better real estate professional overall. And I think that's the big picture, okay? To be a better real estate professional. Expanding your expertise and continuing your education, diversifying your skills. Excelling in marketing and understanding how to target marketing and content marketing and paid advertising. Like, I'm evaluating a prospectus with somebody that wants to start a wholesaling campaign, and I'm reviewing it for him. He's allowing me to take the time to review it. I have somebody else that wants to put together a presentation on the art of networking, and he wants me to review it to hopefully for the betterment of the better presentation. Because I'm providing hopefully some ethical and integrous, feelings to those individuals, and they trust me. You want people to trust you with very personal information, and prioritizing your transparency and staying compliant, focusing on the long-term relationships and the referral system is key. By mastering these areas, you're going to enhance your reputation as a reliable and knowledgeable real estate professional, as well as a mortgage broker or correspondent with a direct private lender, driving both short-term and long-term success and growth in your career. Linda, I'm going to come back to you real quick. What's some thoughts to our discussion this morning, leveraging your mortgage broker business with white label marketing?
Thank you, Joseph. Well, again, I just want to stress that whatever marketing method you choose to white label, it's important to do it on a consistent basis because that's when you're going to see the most results. If you stop something after a few weeks, it's going to be a waste of money for you and it's not going to bring the results and the prospects that you're looking for. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. And Justin, some thoughts to our discussion and where it's going in regards to leveraging a mortgage broker business with white label marketing. Justin, are you there?
Yeah. I'm sorry, I had to get to my button. But yeah, like I said, I think we discussed several ways to make it profitable and guard yourself. You brought up a really good point with just disclosure. I mean, disclosure should just, definitely be a part of your process. And if it's not my research on this topic has, you know, got me in the right mindset. I believe there's quite a bit of disclosure that you'll need to do, especially if you're another type of professional. But look, it's nothing to cry about. It's something that actually safer with that you're letting everybody know where you stand and what you represent and any state you might have in the game. So I just wanted to touch on that point.
Justin, thank you. And what I got from what Justin just said is passion and enthusiasm. If you are passionate about helping others and obviously financially benefiting from it, white label marketing might be for you, right? The love of real estate, the continuous learning, having great networking skills, and making introductions. What is so difficult in giving somebody an introduction to somebody else if it's going to benefit all parties? And the attention to detail, the thoroughness and the accuracy. Yes, Amy, did you want to add something?
I did. I was thinking, so if you take a page out of the commercial real estate brokers, right? A lot of them, like Newmark and Marcus Millchap and all them, have combined shops, right? And so I was thinking, so if you were selling an investment property and you were the realtor and you want to go ahead and sell this, maybe it's a 1 to 4 or whatever. What they typically do when they're offering how it for sale, they'll say this is where the loan will qualify you at, right? They'll offer the financing along with the deal. Is that something that can be done in the 1 to 4 space, or is it something we can? Is it a new way of thinking about it, or is that not really something you can do?
See, I personally think everything is going toward a commercial mindset of listings and representation in a single family through 4 family because asset-based lending has come so much to the forefront. I personally think in the single family through 4 family space, you'll have open listings allowability, which is already allowed, but it'll be more frequent in the next 24 months with AI. I think the whole thing that EXP was doing, licensing licensing agents that do mortgages as well. I think there's a double-edged sword because there's regulations there with Fannie and Freddie. But if it's not regulated and you're just following guidelines in the commercial space, all the pressure is on the direct lender. The pressure is not really on the realtor for the most part. So I'm starting to see some brokerages, real estate brokerages, offering some form of white labeling on the commercial lending space. I have several relationships. And like Steve's saying, they're signing a disclosure saying, hey, our in-house commercial division is conducting the brokerage of the loan on your behalf. And it's just, they're signing off a release. And I think transparency and communication is going to be key in this space because there's so many questionable people in the space. So disclosure is going to be very important. I think empathy and emotional intelligence is going to be absolutely at its peak. Calm under pressure, understanding clients' emotions. To me, I'm giving people news. I'm not giving them bad or good news. It's a business related loan. It's not personal. There might be some emotion. I document everything. I don't text anything to anybody that's important, and I don't call and just do a verbal discussion. Everything is documented and CC'd with the proper parties in giving response to the information that's being needed, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. And guess what? they get the bad news. It's done. It's complete. They could take it whatever way they want. They could bitch about it on Facebook, whatever they want to do. It obviously was denied for a reason. And you can have an opportunity to go to another direct private lender that might see a new, fresh set of eyes that might want to see it differently. And that's okay. But I at least I try to give information as a direct private lender to my correspondents, to my brokers, to my clients quickly and to the point in bullet point fashion. And I think that's what is amiss. People are so still caught up in telling the story instead of getting to the bullet points in our space. It's about bullet point answers. I know it sounds a little rude, but it's direct, it's to the point, it's integrous, and it gets things accomplished quicker. Now, if anybody has obviously any interest in maybe at least looking at this, I provide anyone with a set of questions that need to be asked. I send an application and a checklist that you need to review for yourself or your client. And then I also send you some tools and worksheets to better underwrite your deal. And then I also could set you up as a correspondent or broker, but I'm not going to send you a sizer to size your own loans out until you start sending deals in correctly to me. And listen, no lender wants grenades thrown over a fence with no pin in it because it blows up in their face. There's a certain way of sending a scenario into a lender so they could best understand it. It takes you 2 minutes to fill it out. It's way better than just making a random call looking for terms and rates. It's numerically impossible if I'm driving down the street to give you a rate on a property if I don't know anything about the client and the deal. It's impossible. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to get back to you within the next X amount of time, and I'll get in front of my laptop so I could run my numbers with you to make sure that the numbers are good, correct, and I can issue a proper term sheet on behalf of you as a correspondent or directly to the client. It might not be the answer you want to hear while I'm driving down the street, but I'm giving you as honest and as ethical as I can be. And I'm giving you time management and organization where I'm saying, hey, I'm going to talk to you in 20 minutes. I need 2 minutes on the phone. I can't just throw you a random term sheet. You know, people only give them terms on a Facebook Messenger. It's just not going to happen ever. Never. It will never happen because I follow an integrous environment. Anybody that's doing that, they're just throwing shit up on the wall and hope it sticks. Amy, some final thoughts to our discussion this morning, leveraging your mortgage broker business with white label marketing.
Yeah, I mean, this has been such a cool discussion. I think it by doing any sort of, so if you take it into a broader context, like looking creatively at ways to add streams of income to your existing business is just a good way for any business person to do this, right? I mean, if there's a way that you can better serve your clients in a very streamlined fashion and get more deals done because you're not adding complexity to the deal, you're actually streamlining the deal because you're able to help do another facet of it. I think it's great. I think it's great for it's great for the industry itself. I just believe it. Obviously you need to understand that when you get into something like this, there's going to be some sort of technology or some sort of education that you're going to need to understand and learn, and there'll be a learning curve with it. But if you're able to better serve your client by adding another facet to your business, I think it's a win-win, right? It's win-win for you. It's a win-win for your client. I think it works out better for most people. So that would be my half a nickel.
There he goes, the half a nickel. I love it. And I'm just trying to say, you need to be clear and responsive. You need to have a personalized service and building relationships, being client-centric, and having integrity and ethics. Be honest. Be transparent. That's half the battle in being a good correspondent or a good broker or a great real estate professional. That's going to separate you from the rest. When somebody says, oh, you got a lot of competition in the room, the only competition I have is the mirror. It's myself. Okay? I'm the only person that's going to ruin my night. If there's 100 lenders in the room, I'm still walking out with an opportunity because I'm going to build relationships instead of beating my chest. Okay? I'm going to build relationships. That's key. Right? I'm going to walk away knowing more people in my space that maybe we could facilitate. Do you know how many calls I get from people that are lenders? Hey, Joe, I have this scenario. I can't get it done. Can you help me? Sure. Let's have a discussion. Let's break it down. Let's have an open and transparent communication about this. Let's hopefully make some money together. I look forward to wiring you a referral fee or an origination fee. I would love to do that for you. So my intent at that point is to look out for their best interest on behalf of their client. I don't want to talk to their client because I'm working with a good broker or correspondent. If I'm not working with one and then suddenly the client calls me, there's a breakdown there. And it's typically the broker or the correspondent has either a questionable communication skills or something's going on. There's a miss if I have to have a conversation with their client. I don't want to have to talk to them. I think it makes sense for you to be the focus of their attention to getting things addressed and keeping it in a bullet point communication, getting the right answers, not stories. I think white label marketing is a unique opportunity for you to grow out your business, grow out your brand, be a better real estate professional, not just for others, but also for yourself. Being the smarter individual is going to make all the difference. I'd like to thank our sponsors today, of course, Mr. Yardell Perkins of Perkatech, or your social media strategist, Ms. Linda Pelagas from Realty 401, providing a national publication and national events throughout the country for real estate professionals and services. I'd like to thank MB Capital, where I'm a referral partner providing unsecured business lines of credit for real estate investors throughout the country. And I'd like to thank Lendmark Capital, where I am a senior loan analyst providing asset-based lending, correspondent or broker relationships, as well as direct to investor on DSCR, fixed to rent, fixed to flip, new construction, multifamily, mixed use, new construction lines of credit, and blanket loan programs, advisory, and strategy. We're here every Saturday morning, 8 a.m. and Sunday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, providing education, networking, and strategy. All our downloads and our podcasts are provided on Spotify, Amazon, Audible. They're on our website right above, creativeburststrategies.com. We're cresting over the 75 mark of our podcast. We're going to try to stay every Saturday and Sunday into the late November, and then we're going to go just to Sundays. But we're going to be very consistent in what we're providing here. We offer worksheets, educational studies, follow-up events. We have a mastermind Monday night in Philadelphia. Be part of being educated and being creative in your opportunities as a real estate professional. And my quote this morning, which I always try to put a quote out there, if you're brave enough to say goodbye, life will reward you with a new hello. Paola Coelho. Thank you. Everybody have a blessed Sunday morning. We'll see you next weekend. If there's any questions or concerns, please reach out to me or any of these great moderators that provided the time in giving you insight on this great subject this morning. I'll be ending the room in the next 30 seconds. Thank you and have a great day.